So children, welcome back. So today in this video we will be looking at the exercises of chapter 4, that is sorting materials. So on the first, let us see A. Choose the correct answer or choose the correct options. Here the questions are given and we have to tick or circle the correct answers. First one you see, the sign of material is called luster. Now you give a tick or circle it on luster. Second one you see, which of these substance is miscible in water? Petrol, alcohol, kerosene or diesel. So which one? It will be alcohol, as alcohol mix or is miscible in water. Third, which of these is a non-magnetic materials? Cobalt, nickel, plastic, iron. So out of these four options, plastic is the non-magnetic material. Fourth, dash will not allow electricity to pass through it. Water, human body, copper wire, plastic scale. So out of these four, plastic scale will not allow the electricity to pass through it. Dash is transparent. Mirror, wooden door, butter paper, clear glass. So clear glass will be a transparent. 6. The material that has high density than water will float on water, sink in water, float or sink depending on size of object, float or sink depending on volume of object. So the materials that have high density than water will obviously sink in water. Number 7. The substance that will not dissolve in water is salt, sugar, chalk, milk. So obviously chalk will not dissolve in water. So give tick mark or circle in chalk. Now B. Fill in the blanks using the words given in the box. So the words are given here and we need to fill it in the box. So number 1. The materials that do not shine are called non-lustrous. The materials that do not dissolve in a given liquid are called insoluble. A feeder can float on the surface of water. Magnet is a substance that attracts iron, cobalt and nickel. Fifth, substance that allows light to pass through them partially are called translucent. Number C we will be doing in the next slide. And number D you see match the following. Feather, rough, magnetic, conductor of heat, soluble in water, floats in air. Which one? Feather will be floats in water. Number 2, rocks. Rocks is rough, magnetic, conductor of heat, soluble in water. Which one? It will be rough. Number C, nickel. Magnetic, conductor of heat, soluble in water. Nickel is a magnetic. Aluminium, conductor of heat, sugar, soluble in water. Now number C we will see, that is state whether the following statements are true or false. Correct the false statement. So here the statements are given. Some statements are correct and some statements are wrong. That means some statements are true or some statements are false. So if the statement is false, we need to correct it. First we will see number 1, metals are lustrous because they conduct electricity. This is false, and what will be the correct statement? The correct statement will be metals are lustrous because they appear shiny. And second one, sponge can be compressed because it is soft. This is true, so we do not need to change the statement or we do not need to correct the statement. Number 3, iron is a non-magnetic material. False. What will be the correct statement? The correct statement will be iron is a magnetic material. Fourth, substances that dissolve in a given liquid are called soluble. True. Fifth, all gases are insoluble in water. False. Why? The correct statement will be some gases are soluble in water. Example, we will see some gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide dissolve or soluble in water. E. Give two examples for the following. So questions are given here. We need to give two examples for each. First, materials that have shine, gold and silver. Number 2, materials that cannot be compressed, stone and wood. Third, materials that are soluble in water, salt and sugar. Fourth, materials that are insulators of electricity, plastic and rubber. And fifth, materials that do not allow light to pass through them, wood and cardboard. F. Answer the following question in one word or a sentence. So here we need to answer in one word or a one sentence. First, you see what is classifications. Okay, now let's see what is classification. Grouping of materials based on their properties and appearance is called classification. Number 2, what is luster? The shine of a material is called luster. Third, give an example of a material that can be compressed. That is sponge. Number 4, define solubility. What is solubility? The ability of a substance to dissolve in a liquid is called solubility. And fifth, name a substance that is used as an insulator. Answer is plastic. G. Answer the following questions in brief. Here we need to answer the given question in brief. First, why do we group materials? Answer is, we group materials to make it easier to study and understand their properties. Grouping also makes easy to compare two objects. Second one, define luster, hardness and texture. So here we will see what are luster, hardness and texture. First we will see luster. The shine of a material is called luster. It is again of two types, luster materials and non-lustrous materials. First we will see materials that shines or appear shiny are called lustrous materials. Examples are gold and silver. Materials that do not shine or appear dull are called non-lustrous materials. Examples, paper and rubber. And now we will see texture. Texture of a substance is how it feels when touched. Based on the texture, materials can be grouped as rough and smooth. Materials that have uneven or irregular surface are called rough materials. Example, stone. Materials that have even surface are called smooth materials. Example, marble. Now we will see hardness. Hardness can be defined by the quality or state of material of being hard or soft. Materials that are easy to compress are called soft materials. Example, sponge. Materials that are difficult to compress are called hard materials. Example, stone. So 1 and 2 of G we have seen already. Now we will see the third one. Define solubility. Name two substances that are soluble in water. So what is solubility? The ability of a substance to dissolve in a liquid is called solubility. And let's see what are the substances that dissolve in water. The two substances that are dissolved or soluble in water are sugar and salt. Fourth, we will see differentiate between miscible and immiscible liquids. So here we will see what is the difference between miscible liquids and immiscible liquids. First, you see miscible liquids. Liquids that dissolve in a given liquid is called miscible liquids. Immiscible liquid. Liquid that do not dissolve in a given liquid is called immiscible liquids. Now number 2, they do not form two separate layers. So miscible liquids do not form into two separate layers, but immiscible liquids, they form two separate layers. Third example, alcohol and lemon juice. An example of immiscible liquids will be petrol and kerosene. Now fifth, we will see differentiate between magnetic and non-magnetic materials. Let's see what is the difference between magnetic and non-magnetic materials. First, materials that get attracted towards a magnet are called magnetic materials. Materials that do not get attracted towards a magnet are called non-magnetic materials. Examples we will see. Examples of magnetic materials are iron and nickel. Examples of non-magnetic materials are rubber and plastic. H. Answer the following questions in details. Number 1 question. Explain the properties based on which you can classify materials. So here we need to explain, or we need to give a brief specifications how these properties can be classified, or materials can be classified. Answer is, the properties based on which we can classify materials are: first, appearance of a materials, that is lusters or non-lusters; hardness or softness of a materials; number third, roughness or smoothness of a materials; fourth, states, that is solids, liquids and gases; fifth is solubility and insolubility in water; 6. Heaviness or lightness with respect to water; 7. Magnetic and non-magnetic properties; 8. Conductors and insulators of heat or electricity; and last one, that is number 9. Transparency, translucent and opaque materials. As we have seen number 1 of each, now we will see number 2, that is differentiate between, sorry I have missed solid here, you write it here, solids, liquids and gases. So the arrangement of particles in each with the help of a diagram. First one is solid, liquid and gases. Solids, liquids and gases. First you see solids have definite shapes and volume. Liquids do not have a definite shape but have a definite volume. Gases do not have a definite shapes and they do not even have a volume. Number 2 of solids, particles are tightly packed with least interparticle spaces. Number 2 of liquids, particles are loosely packed with intermediate interparticle spaces. Number 2 of gases, particles are widely packed with most interparticle space. Number 3 of solids, particles cannot move or flow. Number 3, particles can move or flow. Number 3 of gases, particles can move freely in any direction. Number 4, solids cannot be compressed. 4 of liquids, liquids can be compressed. And 4 of solids are, sorry, 4 of gases. Gases are highly compressible compared to these solids and liquids. So this is the diagram of solids, this is the diagram of liquids, and this is the diagram of gases. And now number 3, we will see differentiate between transparent, translucent and opaque object with example. Transparent, translucent, opaque. First, materials that allow light to pass through them completely is called transparent materials. Number 1, materials that allow light to pass through them partially is called translucent materials. Number 1 of opaque, materials that do not allow any light to pass through them are called opaque materials. Examples of transparent, air and water. Examples of translucent, butter paper and frosted glass. Examples of opaque, wood and cardboard. Now number 4, we will see what is conductivity, what are the two types of conductors, give two examples of each. The property of a materials to allow heat or electricity to pass through is called conductivity. The two types of conductors are conductors of heat and conductors of electricity. We will see what is conductors of heat. Materials that allow heat to pass through them are called conductors of heat. Example, iron and steel. Now we will see conductors of electricity. Materials that allow electricity to pass through them are called conductors of electricity. Example, aluminium and copper. Fifth, we will see what does a material float or sink in water. Explain with the help of a diagram. So now we will see why do materials that float or sink in water. Answer is materials float or sink in water depending on their density. When material is less dense than water, then it floats on water. When materials is denser than water, then it sinks in water. So this is the one feather floats on water and this is stone sink in water. So this is feather and this is stone. So here we stop with our video. Let's meet in the next video.